Hello, good morning. You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Suri Balde. We are back again on another edition of QTV this morning. Well, it's a rainy Tuesday morning in some parts of the Gambia. It didn't rain in Lamen this morning, but it rained around Latrikunda, Churchill's town, you know, towards the Kairaba Avenue this morning. So this is sometimes the case. This is how it happens. Sometimes it rain here, the other day, at the same time, it will not rain in Bursubi or something. You know, at some point, people will be like, wow, look at these wonders. I mean.
I think I recall telling colleagues about 10 days ago I was coming to work. And in fact, it was a day when I had the day off, actually. And I could actually see the divide. Where the rain started
exactly.
And stopped. It was quite curious. I wanted to actually stop the car and just video it for a few seconds because it was really quite odd, because 1 minute you're driving in complete dry conditions and the next minute you're just hit by this sheet of rain. And it was quite something to see.
It all depends on where the rain
go.
clouds
Exactly.
And
That's it.
And they don't care about
nice.
our regions.
No. Yeah,
all
exactly.
these land borders. It's relevant.
So it's telling you, I mean, at some point, look at how we create borders. I mean,
exactly.
You know, it's telling you everything depends on, I mean, it's one big whole thing.
Yeah, the sun shines on everybody and the rain can rain on everybody.
I think we just created borders to manage well. It's easier to manage certain people than.
Absolutely. So we have Mr. Momodu Mboj as the co-host today. Mr. Mboj, you have to over nice.
Absolutely.
I love the outfit. You know, nice. I mean, how much can more tilo? Why don't fight? Oh yeah, our stylist. Yeah, she is very proactive when it comes to clothing. I mean, say although buri, yes. Buri, wow, buri, yeah, buri. Yeah, so Mr. Ade, you are also following the trend. I can see trend. From before the OIC, you've been dressing this way.
No, but I didn't like the trend. At least in the office. I mean, it's
for
a very long time.
For quite a while. So at some point it started when I was doing the week in review. And I decided that maybe I should wear the kaftan all the time on that show. And then later on it became a case of me wearing it all the time to come to work rather than in quotes Western style clothing, and so it's kind of stuck with me, and I've got so many of them now that I can afford.
Most of the time people attributed this thing to Fridays. You wear kaftan.
Yes, it used
Friday.
to be the thing. Yeah.
You know, but I think kaftan is more of an African wear.
Is it very much so? I mean, the Friday thing you mentioned is, of course, in many majority Muslim countries, because people would go for Jummah on Friday, they would dress in their Jummah best. In Christian countries, it would be what you'd call your Sunday best, if you know. Because that was the day when most people went to pray. And so even for those who were not Muslims, when I started coming to the Gambia, I noticed that on a Friday, they would get into the spirit of it and they would wear the kaftan. Whilst their Muslim colleagues were going for Jummah, they were in the office, but they were still wearing kaftan. And it's just become a thing here now. Where
you know, I was thinking we are going to select a particular day, and a day whereby everybody is going to wear African, you know, maybe let's say on Wednesday.
It would have been nice on, well, you mean a day of the week?
A day of the week.
Well, Friday has almost become that day.
Yes, I mean, but more of African, maybe 99% African. Wherever you go, it's African. But for me, in fact, I am not very selective of what I wear sometimes. I mean, even Fridays I can wear jean and wear, you know, something. I mean, I'm not selective. Okay, this is Friday, I need to wear only kaftan. No. I can wear jean, I can wear three-quarter. And
many Fridays I've not worn kaftan. Many. It just depends on my mood.
Yeah. Yes, so today sandwiched by two of our heads. That's Mr. Momodou Mbodj and Mr. Ade.
Not quite sandwich. He's the one who's he's
oh, you are sandwich.
He's sandwich.
You are in the middle.
He's in the middle of the sandwich.
The reason why I say sandwich, I mean, you know, sometimes you need to give respect to the one above you. That's why I'm giving you that respect and that honor.
Yes,
quite. But not to the extent that you distort facts. Facts are sacred.
This is the sandwich. You're the top piece of bread, middle of the sandwich, and the bottom piece of bread.
I know,
in the sandwich.
Well, on the program, we'll take a look at the African code, and then we will be talking to Pabakari Bas, Nutrition Field Coordinator, Nana, on Breastfeeding Week.
Which is ends tomorrow,
yes.
On the 7th.
Yes. And Momodou Gajaga will be here for Sports World as well. We'll talk about the updates of the Paris Olympics.
Yes, how did the Gambian athletes fare,
perform,
and also the games as a whole. There have been some exciting performances.
We'll take a look at the game and everything surrounding the Paris Olympics. Yeah, so on that note, we will read out the African code for you, Mr. Momodou Mbodj. I'll give you the honor to go ahead with it.
Oh, you want me to read it out?
Oh, yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
The load is lighter when two people carry it. That's what it says.
Bolo moy dole.
The load is
Bolo moy dole.
Exactly.
You know? Yeah, so the load is lighter when two people carry it.
And it's true, and we use this both in the physical and also the metaphorical sense. You might have a problem that you might not be able to solve by yourself, and it might be wise to ask somebody else's advice. How do I solve this? I'm having problems dealing with this. Can you help me? And they might come up with this. It's not always the case that they will, but they might. So in that sense, that load which was weighing on your head, not physically, could be lifted just by you sharing the burden with somebody else. So yes, it's a common one. I'm not sure it's an African one necessarily. I think it's a global one, this particular phrase. So
and Adi, when you look at psychotherapy, it's really, they call it the talking cure.
Yeah, quite.
So the idea of talking it over, not bottling it up, as it were, being open. It's therapeutic.
Yes,
in many ways it is therapeutic. And it's useful. I mean, I'm sure we've all sort of found ourselves in certain situations where I'm puzzling over something and I talk to someone else and sort of avenues begin to open. I said, oh, why do you look at it that way?
That's it.
It's stuff like that. Yes, so it is very useful in that way as well. You know, there's therapy and there's usefulness.
I remember in England or in Britain when British Telecom decided to call itself BT. Now it's just called BT. For many people don't even know it was ever called British Telecom. And the advert was, it's good to talk. And so they had this whole series. Obviously, they were selling telephone services, but many people have since adopted that phrase, it's good to talk. And many of the times they've adopted it is because it's about sharing of a burden with somebody else, talking it out with somebody else, getting another opinion, and so on. So,
but you see, and with me though, this is where it leads me to another question. But who?
Well,
I think it really matters.
That's what I was going to say. It's not always the case that the person you talk to will help you.
I wanted to say, problem said is a problem solved.
No, half solved.
Half solved. Who are you going to share your problem with?
You have to be very careful.
That's a big one.
Because some people, you go and tell them about your problem, and they start telling you about theirs.
Next minute is broadcasters.
You know, either they tell you about theirs, or the whole world gets to know your problem. So it's very much, that's why I said, you know, it's not always the case that the person you go to, but, you know, sometimes it is the case.
Mr. Mbodj and Ade, I mean, don't you think there should be someone that one should trust in such a way that to tell the person the deepest secret of your life, a secret that you know you cannot even tell your mother and father?
I think many of us have somebody like that in our lives, somebody who's a confidant. I think many of us, we have, and usually it might be one person, Very rarely.
Could
it might
be
be
more,
2.
yeah.
And in fact, a cousin of mine celebrated his birthday 2 weeks ago, and we have a family WhatsApp group, and I refer to him as my confidant. We actually shared the same office when I was in the UK, and we obviously, he's my cousin, and we've known each other since childhood, and we share things that we don't even tell our spouses, really, and that's the truth.
Well,
and even our siblings, you know, that's how close he and I were.
Yeah. Well, it's good to have one. I also got one. I mean, I always mention him on this program. That's Kanye of GTMI.
Yes.
I mean, I always mention him.
Yeah.
There are things that one sometimes go through in life. You cannot even share it with your parents, because when you share it with them, they might look at you with those eyes, or they might even, I mean, you know, tend to regulate, although they will try helping you, but at some point you're scared, what will my parents think?
Yeah, because to your parents, you're always their child, no
you
matter
understand?
what age you are.
Especially if you have a mother.
Yeah, but I have to say that with my parents, you know, my father died when I was 17, so my mother was one, but I shared pretty much a lot of things with her, because we'd always had that relationship. I'd had that relationship with both parents, I have to be honest, where they encouraged us to be honest and open with them and not be scared to tell them anything. I mean anything, including things that were worrying us, relationship stuff and so on. And you know, sometimes our friends were quite shocked. What, you told your parents that? But yeah. But as I said, my cousin Amit Cisse, who I hope he's watching in London, he and I were more than brothers, and we shared lots of stuff. Yeah,
that's the key, Ade. In the end, your openness, sort of your disposition, the dispositional traits, they really formed in your infancy, at home. In many ways, there's really, you learn to be honest, you don't lie. And then you have an open nature. And
that's why I tell young colleagues who are parents, I tell them about things about honesty. Don't lie to your children. Because sometimes you throw out a word casually. Oh yes, you know, come the weekend I'll buy you ice cream. When you had no intention of doing that. Now you throw it out there casually, but the child will remember it. And when you don't do it, they then start doubting other things that you say. So be honest with them, be open with them, encourage them to be honest with you in return. And you know, so I tell the youngsters here, I said, you know, try and get that relationship with your child. And it's a thing of mutual respect. Yes, you are the parent, and you are the one who, in some instances, you set the boundaries about discipline and so on. Our parents never caned us, any of us. But we still felt that discipline, that we were scared to go against certain things that they told us not to do. Of course, we occasionally did, but you know, we still had the respect.
That's childhood for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I will take this opportunity to wish my very good and dear sister, Kajatu Jite, in Basse Angal Futa, a happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Know, in advance.
Oh, in advance.
Yes, her birthday is on the 9th.
Well, why didn't you wait till the 9th? You will,
it's good to sit here on QTV and wish her happy birthday.
So did you wish Buba Fati a belated birthday on Sunday?
During my birthday days, when I was there on postings, I mean, Kajatu Jite was very good to us, for I and my team.
Okay.
You know, she took good care of us, give us food, you know. At some point, gave shelter to some of my teammates. You know, so happy birthday in advance, Kajatu Jite. Ñaanal jama fan buguda wirgu yaram Kajatu Jite Basse Angal Futa. Yes. Buba Fati is not important.
One of the most important.
He is not
important. Buba Fati is so important. I thought that because his birthday fell on a Sunday, there might be a public holiday on the Monday, but it didn't happen.
Buba is not significant. Buba Fati will not be wished anything here. Yeah, so Mr. Mboj, we'll take a short break. After the break, we'll look into current affairs. We'll be right back.
Do your banking the smart way with the new Aji Bank mobile app. Transfer money to any bank account in the Gambia. Top up airtime for all networks. pay utility bills, check your account balance and view mini statements, request for ATM cards, request for checkbooks, and more in a single touch. So, do your banking in a smart way. Do your banking now with Ajibank mobile app. Every time is banking time. Ajibank, your investment partner.
You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Masuri Balde. Now let's take a look at some of the stories making headlines. NAWEC explains frustrating power cuts.
Yes, we went to speak to them yesterday, and they explained that some of it was down to upgrade work that is going on, and if anybody lives in the kind of greater Banjul area, they would have had the most frustrating Sunday ever. I wanted to watch the Olympics. And
West Coast, wasn't it?
Say again?
West Coast as well.
West Coast,
region,
yeah, that's right.
Well,
yes, exactly, West Coast region. And every time I got excited because I thought, oh, the power is back on. A minute later it would go off, and it must have gone off maybe a dozen times, and I'm not exaggerating, across the day. And it finally came in our area around 9:30 p.m. on Sunday, by which time I'd gotten fed up and I didn't even bother, because I was watching online. And because of the intermittent nature of the supply, my dongle had even lost power, so I couldn't even charge that and watch this. So I was really frustrated. So they tried to explain what the situation is, and that, and we know sometimes we have to go through this pain, but it would have been nice. They'd put out a message about the kind of fact that there was going to be an intermittent supply, but what they had said in their press release was that there would be about 5 hours where people, they didn't tell you that it was from 10 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. You'd be having annoying breakages and interruptions. It was really
Well, for me, I counted like the on and off at my area. Is it on Saturday? I counted like 7 times.
Saturday was bad, but Sunday was worse.
Like 7
Sunday
times.
was worse.
I was watching TV, but the honor, in fact, it will just come less than 5 minutes. It's off again.
Yeah.
You know, so I said to my son, please, can you put the TV off so that they won't at least. Yeah, so and it's crazy.
And for me, I'm curious to know, okay, after the upgrade is done, then what? Does it mean that we will have uninterrupted
constant supply? We can dream.
Or only that the frequency of the power cuts would be narrowed? So what does it mean? What are we heading
I think that's the question everybody's asking, because you know, government is saying that across the country there's 62% coverage in terms of electricity, and we're talking about 2025 we have 90%.
90%, that's it, by 2025. Yeah,
that's only next year. So we're at 62%
Can you
now.
imagine? Absolutely. The kind of leap.
Yeah, it's quite a leap. And the reason they're saying this is because various power stations and connectivities will have come into play in terms of the national grid. And so they're hoping that if all things being equal and all things being okay, then that will take us there. That's why, because as you said, it's quite a leap from 62% to 90% national coverage.
Year.
But that's what we hope for. And down the line, of course, solar, there's a solar plant now. They're trying to encourage people to use solar as well. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, I hope and pray they will solve their problem, because people cannot go without power. Imagine, you know, spending the whole night in your house, you know, when it's about to rain and it didn't rain, the amount of heat that you experience, you know, it's
I didn't even mention that. You're right. I mean, these rains have kind of cooled things down a bit, but when in this rain season we didn't have the rains, and we were having 30 and 32 degrees, and then no electricity. It's like you're living in an oven. It really was unbearable and uncomfortable. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, let's move and take a look at the video. The Vice President visited Senegal.
Indeed.
I mean, most of these visits are high-power, visits. I mean,
what do you mean high power? He's the VP.
Yeah, it's a VP. It's high power, of
straight
course.
away.
Of course, it has to be high power. It's a high power delegation.
Meeting the PM.
Yes.
Yeah, quite. But he's taken several ministers with him. So in that sense, it's high
that
power.
made it a high power delegation to Senegal.
Quite.
So what we do now, we'll take a look at that video. And the purpose of the visit, we might also discuss it here.
Sure.
So let's look at that video.
Welcomed warmly in Dakar by Senegalese Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko, Vice President Mohamed B.S. Diallo's visit underscores the deep connections between the Gambia and Senegal. Accompanied by top officials, including the Ministers of Foreign Affairs, Fisheries, Defense and Water Resources, Diallo's agenda includes a pivotal working session with Prime Minister Sonko to discuss strengthening existing ties and identify new areas of collaboration. In addition to the meeting with the Prime Minister, the Vice President and his delegation are scheduled to confer with President Bassirou Diomaye Faye. These discussions will focus on the unique bilateral relationship rooted in shared history, geography and culture, reflecting the intertwined destinies of the two nations. The Gambia and Senegal are united not only by the Wolof language, but also by common cultural traditions, with many families straddling both sides of the border. Since gaining independence, both countries have continuously sought closer cooperation, illustrating their commitment to regional unity and development. This visit is particularly significant as the Gambia is the second African country to engage with Senegal's new head of state, President Bassirou Diomaye Faye, following his election on March 24th. The meetings are expected to reinforce the collaborative spirit and foster new initiatives for mutual growth and prosperity. Reporting for QTV News, I am Lena Igwanyu.
Our QTV reporter, Lena, on that story. It's important. I mean, Gambia and Senegal, I think they are even closer than any other African country. We do mention Guinea-Bissau, we mention Guinea-Conakry. When you travel to Basse, it's not far from Kundara. And when you get to Kundara, Kundara is Guinea-Conakry itself. But the border that we share with Senegal, we didn't share it with any other country within our...
That's a fact. I mean, just geography has made it so.
Exactly.
Gambia is in an embrace
absolutely
by Senegal.
Yeah, so I mean,
it's unavoidable.
The officials visiting Senegal to discuss how to strengthen, how to enhance our ties between the two countries. It's a very important thing. It's not new. We've seen our heads of states, visiting Senegal, I mean, to see how best to strengthen the relation. But I think it's important to discuss the most important thing. That's the intertrade between Senegal and Gambia. The border, which is very important to the people of these countries.
Yes, I mean, the trade there's quite a lot of trade between and across the two countries. And sometimes there's friction. We have to be honest about it. And I think that's one of the reasons why he's taken those ministers there, because these are some of the things that they'll be talking about. How do we, we like to talk, oh, we're brothers, we're this, we're that, but we've seen when people have gone across, particularly Gambians going across, have complained about harassment and intimidation. I remember famously when the head of their transport union on our TV, he said these politicians can talk about all this kind of interconnectivity and trade. If it was up to me, he said not a single Gambian bus would set its tires in Senegal and vice versa. He said we would stop it. So that's the reality that we have to deal with, away from the kind of political rhetoric and niceties about how brotherly we are and so on. So those are some of the things that have to be ironed out. That is a mutual thing, and it's a much bigger country. What are the chances of us harming their transport sector by our buses going there? Virtually nil. And I think that's what they have to be brought around to understand. But it's there, and of course now they are an oil-producing country, And we hope we'll get cheap oil from them. I doubt it, but it would be nice.
Okay. Absolutely.
Yes.
Mr. Mboy. Yeah, exactly. The different levels here. I used to tell people that, well, I'm curious because I can speak my mother tongue in Senegal, and the Senegalese will speak his or her mother tongue, and we're speaking the same language.
Yeah,
so that's deep.
Yeah,
that's really the deepest thing between us. But as you said, the political differences must come in. Two different nation states, different colonial experiences. Yeah. So in spite of the similarities, numerous, differences have emerged because of recent experience. We need to understand that. So in the end, the nation state, you are really there to defend your national interest.
Yes.
We cannot take that one away from it.
Oh, that's right.
So that is why we've had this relationship. Sometimes looks like a love-hate relationship. But the number of treaties, just watching that, and agreements we signed with them, from 65 to 75, we must have signed about 20 or more. Stuff like that.
Oh, that's right.
And yet, there were tensions.
There were always tensions. The whole confederation.
The whole confederation. Look
discussion.
at what happened there. Absolutely.
Yeah. It collapsed.
But this is it.
Yeah.
Basically, we've been able to reconcile our differences. Whenever these tensions have arisen, we had dealt with them.
Yes, and I think
that's
and we've dealt with them out of necessity because of the kind of close geographical, cultural ties. As of necessity, we've said we have to resolve whatever differences there are between us. And yes, it's good that we are having this sort of thing. So it would be good to speak to the Vice President on his return and say, were there practical things that have come out of? It's a working visit. It's not just a, so it's not just one of those state visits where you go and attend a banquet or two. It's a working visit. That's why he's gone with these ministers and other officials, what Balde referred to as a high-powered delegation. So let's hope that there will be practical things that will come out of it.
That's it. And just one more thing, and just to tell you how the outside world, how they see us. I got this from the Chief Justice, Hassan Jallow, the other day interviewing him. They were in Zimbabwe or something with the AU.
Right.
So there was something that they wanted Gambia to do and stuff. So one of the presidents said, no, just speak to Senegal. And it's like that. So when it's got to do with Senegal, they'll be like, oh, just speak to Gambia. Gambia will talk to them. So
yes,
this is how they see us. This is how they see us.
Senegal and Gambia, we are in one nation, just divided by the border. The people in Senegal, they are the same people you'll find in the Gambia, I think it's important. But one thing for me, most of these visits and these conversations over how to strengthen the ties between the two countries, I know it's important for us to do this. But for me, most of the time, what are we going to do to make sure all these agreements are implemented?
Well, essentially, that's exactly what we're discussing here.
Those are the things. Those are the problems.
That, as Mr. Mboy says, from 1965 right through to 75, there were so many of these agreements and protocols that were signed. But in terms of the practical delivery on them, really not much. And I guess, hopefully, these are some of the things they probably say to each other, you know what, let's stop the talking, let's do the doing. Because we talk, we sign this, we agree this protocol, and we take a nice photo opportunity, and then nothing happens. Something needs to happen, and let that something be something positive that benefits, that's mutually beneficial, really.
Yes, and over there right now, the Vice President is there with a good number of ministers. Can you imagine, in virtually all areas, we need to collaborate with them, with fisheries and the like,
defense,
because of
Ministry of Defense is there.
The geography, defense
trade,
there as well.
So
this is it. The differences in style, perhaps, different national interests, perhaps these things will always get in the way once in a while. So perhaps this is why we must not expect a seamless relationship, it's never going to happen. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
When it's putting it that way, so that when we find ourselves in a tense moment, we wouldn't overreact.
Yeah, quite.
Don't overplay it. These are just normal in human relationships.
And there have been times when...
What do we say about the tongue and your teeth? Once in a while.
Sometimes they...
Once in a while.
And you wonder how does
teeth
that
and
happen?
tongue will jam, as the Jamaicans will say.
How did the teeth and the tongue, I mean, sometimes you wonder, you know. So China hopes to put up high standard market economy by 2035. China.
I mean, China is on course to be the world's biggest economy to overtake.
China's leader, is he a dictator? Just want to know. Because I've been seeing him quite a long time. I've never seen...
Yes, they don't have elections. It's not a democracy as you and I know it. There's effectively only one party there, and that's the Chinese Communist Party. It's a fact. It's not a secret.
Absolutely.
And that system seems to work for them, because if you're my age, you will know where China was to where it is now. When I was in primary school, if you'd been telling me that China would be virtually a first world power, apart from its size, honestly, you would have been laughed at. And now we're talking about it overtaking America as the world's dominant economy. That would have been unthinkable when I was a child. And that's the transformation that has happened in China. It's quite remarkable. There's never been anything like it in any country in that space of time.
Well, you know, one thing about China, I love them for one thing. They work. Both young and old, they all work. You see, Mr. Ade, if you want to move as a country, you need to work very hard. You don't have, you see, if you put enjoyment before work, at the end of time, it won't work for you. So I can see China, this is what they prioritize more, and it's really taking them to the higher heights.
China is a complex one, and it's not one that we can simplify, because what will work in China will not work everywhere. And it's again the same Rwanda. What works in Rwanda will not work everywhere. It works for them, and it's working for them. And that's
in China.
All you can say.
Let's look at the history, though.
Yeah.
That's it. From 1936, whipped by Japan in Manchuria, and then afterwards in the 40s, Mao came in.
Yeah. Then you had the
cultural revolution.
Then you had Chiang Kai-shek, Chairman Mao.
They have so much respect for Chairman Mao.
Yes.
So much respect.
Very much the founder of what we would call modern China in terms of his leadership of the Communist Party.
He is like Muhammad Gandhi of India.
Mahatma
Gandhi.
Mahatma.
Yes, I think I read about that guy since my primary school days. You know. Well, Mr. Ade, thank you very much for
pleasure.
You know, reviewing these stories with us.
Sure.
And we hope to engage you more and more.
Yes, we didn't talk about the big story, which is the rains which have flooded everywhere. So if you're in the Gambia, everywhere is like a swimming pool right now, particularly in the... We didn't go deep into
What happened to our drainage system in this country?
We have a problem because of how flat the country is. And I've said this many times, if you go to Sierra Leone and you go to Freetown, the whole Freetown slopes down towards the coast. There's a hill that goes. We don't have that here. It's just...
Everything is flat. But there should have been ways. I mean, there should have been better. To be flat is not an excuse.
You're right, and I've always said this. Why didn't we ask people from the Netherlands, which literally means flatland? It's as flat as the Gambia, but they don't have the same problems we have, because they are the masters of this whole drainage system for a flat country.
Absolutely.
And we should learn from them.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Ade. We will say Tata to you
say
now.
Au revoir. I might be back.
Until we meet again on the same platform.
Inshallah.
Yeah, so viewers will take a short break. After the break, we will be talking about Breastfeeding Week. We'll be back.
As the fastest growing GSM company in the Gambia, QCell has the widest 4G plus coverage in the country, 3 times faster internet speed than our competitors. So switch now and dial *335# and enjoy what true 4G feels like. QCell, the Gambia's trusted network. The future is now. With QCell's 5G network, experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fix internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled devices. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future. Tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply. QCell, the fastest growing network in the Gambia, now presents to you the eSIM. QCell's eSIM allows you to electronically scan a code and join the world of digital SIM cards. Customers with physical SIMs can easily switch to the eSIM as well. So rush now and get connected with an eSIM and start using the latest mobile technology with your trusted GSM operator. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Get a QCell SIM card for free. Yes, absolutely free. Walk into any of our customer care centers and get a SIM free of charge. With a QCell SIM card, you can get the fastest and the most reliable internet plus wide range of amazing services. So rush now to any of our care centers and get a free SIM now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Have you been looking for the perfect indoor router with long-range Wi-Fi coverage and faster internet speed connecting all your...
We are back. You are watching QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Masuri Balde. From that discussion with Mr. Adedrame, helping us to review the newspapers. Now let's talk about Breastfeeding Week. You all know how important breastfeeding is. We encourage it. Even our hospitals, if you go, they encourage mothers to breastfeed their kids to, a certain period. We have Malang and Fofana, Executive Director Nana, and of course Fabakari Bass, Nutrition Field Coordinator Nana. Gentlemen, you are welcome on this program. It will be very important, this program, to be changed to local language, for the interest of our local viewers. When you talk about breastfeeding, it involves everybody. Yeah, so ñu ngi leen a dalal si programme bi ñu ne leen jërë ngeen jëf si ñëw bi ñu starté kooku di Malang and Fofana ñu dalal la.
Thank you, Mr. Yalo, for having us. It's also a pleasure to be with the media, particularly at the TV, for the viewers to get some information about what we do as a country. And just like you said, this particular week is a very important week globally, in the sense that the global community has chosen the 1st of August to the 7th of August to celebrate breastfeeding, because it is important for the child, the mother, the community and the society and the environment. And each year there is a theme that is identified to mark the occasion. And for this year, the theme for the celebration is Closing the Gap, Breastfeeding Support for All. What that means is that, yes, breastfeeding is a norm in many societies, in many communities, particularly in the Gambia. But there are gaps in the way breastfeeding is done, in the manner breastfeeding is done, between different sections in the community. And that warrants us to inform, educate, communicate to close that gap so that everybody can enjoy the benefits of breastfeeding. That is the essence of World Breastfeeding Week. And we are glad to be here today to share a little bit of that with the viewers.
Yeah, so we'll allow Faba Akari to delve into that, Mr. Bass. Bëggoon nañ nga wax ñu tuuti comme si week bi.
Ok, jërëjëf. Kontaan nañ si li ngeen ñu isi fii pour ñu ñëw waxtaan ak askan wi si celebration bu ñooy def ni World Breastfeeding Week celebration. Comme maanaam ni mu ko waxee rek adduna bi yëpp dañ jagle week bi 1st of August ba on the 7th of August pour màggal nampal te soo seetee nampal lu am solo la moo tax adduna bi toog ñu xalaat ne foog ñu am ab diir buñ taxawal nga xam ne dinañ waxtaane affaire yi nampal màggal ko parce que comme ni ma ko dee faral di waxee rek nampal mooy fondement yi doomi aadama nit pour mu mun a mut nit foog mu nampa ba suur kon lii moo tax semaine bi mu am solo waaye si kanam dinañ gën a yaatal waxtaan bi jërëjëf.
Yeah, so let's get into it, Mr.
Exactly, yes. Mr. Fofana,
yes.
You said earlier on, talked about different sections of the society. What are they, and what are the issues with each?
Thank you. If you look at the society, there are people who are very well informed about infant and child feeding, particularly breastfeeding. They know the importance of breastfeeding. There are people who have these cultural beliefs and myths and misconceptions about breastfeeding based on their cultural background. There are people who are working, and because they are working, they have a challenge when it comes to certain aspects of breastfeeding. Because the global recommendation for breastfeed for every child is to ensure that the child is optimally fed. By optimal breastfeeding, we mean early initiation of breastfeeding. You put the child to the breast immediately after birth, within the first 1 hour of birth. That is a challenge in many areas. In some cultures, people tell you, no, I have to take a shower before I put the child to the breast. If there's no water ready, it takes time before you can fetch water for the mother. It took about hours and hours. Some would tell you, I don't have milk in my breast to start breastfeeding. So they have to wait until a day or two before the milk is spoiled. So these are gaps that are existing in initial breastfeeding, and every child ideally should be put to breast immediately because there are very important aspects of that for the mother and for the child. For the mother, it helps in stopping bleeding, and we know maternal mortality. One of the leading causes of maternal mortality is bleeding. So if you put the child to the breast immediately after birth, it helps to stop bleeding, so it can prevent maternal mortality. One of the other aspects of maternal mortality is retained placenta. The child delivers, the placenta cannot come out, complications develop, and the mother passes away. But if you put the child to the breast immediately after birth, within the first hour, it can help the placenta to come out easily. Two very important aspects. Culturally, if you look at our society, in the past, when women deliver, they'll take a wrapper to tie the upper part of the stomach. The reason for that is for the uterus to come down to its normal position. If you don't tie the breast, the stomach, but you just put the child to the breast immediately after birth, it can help the uterus to come down easily. Three important aspects just to put the child to the breast for the first hour, for the mother. And for the child, it helps the child to get the colostrum, which is the first milk that comes out in the first few days. It's yellowish, slippery.
Yes.
That milk is very important for every child, just like Pawakar has. It's the foundation for every child. It's the first immunization for the child. It helps the child to boost the child immunity. Secondly, it helps to clear the stomach, the intestine from the meconium. Because when the child is in the mother's womb, it fed on the blood of the mother through the placenta. When you cut the placenta, the stomach has to be ready for feeding without milk, outside milk. So the first milk clear out the meconium. That's why if you look at the first stool of the child, it's a bit reddish, because it clear out the stomach from the blood lining in there and get it ready for milk feeding. So these are very important for every child to undergo. If you miss this, is important. So, and that's a big gap in our society. Secondly, the other gap is every child should be exclusively breastfed for 6 months without water or any other food. Still now, there are people who don't believe that a child can be fed on breast milk alone for 6 months. That's a gap. It's a big gap. If you look at our country, only 54% of the mothers are practicing it. Even though some of them knows it, but because of the fact that they have to go to work, it's a choice now. Do I stay at home to feed my child exclusively for 6 months, or do I go to work? So that became a gap. Thirdly, when the child is after 6 months, breast milk is no longer adequate to meet the child's nutrient requirement. So you have to complement breast milk. And then you add some other things to breast milk so that the child can grow in the normal way and get its normal potential of growth. These are critical, and you can feed the child on demand up to 2 years of the child's life. This is the norm, recommendation for globally for every child. But if you look at our society, there are gaps in this, and those gaps need to be closed so that every child can have the benefit of optimal feeding to get the maximum benefit, so that we can build the foundation for our human capital in this country.
Well, you know, when we talk about breastfeeding, I didn't know before all these benefits were involved. I mean, all that I know, okay, the breast milk is good for the child. You understand? But I didn't know it is beneficial to the mother as well. You know, I've seen that several times where women will tie wrapper on their stomach, I mean, to make sure it's in position again. It's very significant. I mean, what do you have to say? Like you said, many people will tell you, okay, a child cannot, you know, be without drinking water, you know, and they start giving their infants water at a very early age. What do you think will happen to that child?
It will deny the child the perfect nutrition in life. Because the child's stomach capacity is small. It can take small quantity at a time. If you give the child water, it takes place of the breast milk. So that's one of the challenges. Because breast milk is a perfect food. It has all the nutrients that the child needs in the first 6 months. It has all the water that the child needs. If you look at the breast milk, it has when you start breastfeeding, there are 3 components of breast milk. We talk about the colostrum, which is the first milk that came out. At the beginning of every breastfeeding, majority of the milk that come out is watery. Almost 90% is water. That quenches the taste of the child. Towards the end of breastfeeding is when the milk turns into more fat, it gets into the milk. You cannot, nobody can regulate. It's only nature that regulates that. You start breastfeeding, you can even test yourself. Right? If you have if your wife delivers, when she just put the child on the breast, just squeeze a little bit of breast milk and see. And you wait until the child finishes breastfeeding towards the end of the breastfeeding, and you squeeze a little bit. You see a big difference. You see the milk at the beginning is thicker than at the so we call it fore milk and hind milk. Fore milk quenches the taste of the child, which is mainly water. But the hind milk is more of the fat, the nutrients that the child needs. So that's why if we are even advising women, if you are breastfeeding, start one breast until that breast is empty before you move to the other breast. But sometimes, again, in our society, like I say, some are more informed than others. In our society, some will tell you the right breast is the water, the left breast is the food. Come on, because they don't understand. All the milk that comes from the right or the left is the same. The difference is the beginning and the end of the feed. And that's also a gap. So every child, every mother should ensure that you breastfeed your child until the first the milk is finished before you turn to the other milk, so that the child can get both the hind milk and the fore milk, get both the water and the food.
Okay. This is interesting. Earlier you gave a statistic. I think you said this, just 50% of women breastfeed the...
Exclusive, 54%.
54%.
54,
like
except exclusively.
God, to some of us, I felt that every woman really did, even when we were growing up. But has something happened there? Is it that numbers have been going down?
Okay. If you look at breastfeeding, just to put the title breastfeeding, 99% of mothers in this country do that.
Yes.
But to do it exclusively,
it's
only 54%.
54%. Right.
Meaning those that only give nothing but water for 6 months is 54%. And ideally, every child should, in the first 6 months, should go under that. That's the global recommendation. And it's possible. It's happening in this country.
So we will come back to that. Let's engage Mr. Bass. Bugon nañ nga wax ñu tuuti comme Mr Fofana lu mu fi wax rek wàllum nampal bi am na solo am na ñoo xam ne duñ dee nangoo nampal sax because dafa am ñoom tam luñ gëm am na ñoo xam ne dañoo xaaraagum ba si kanam balaa gaa di nampal seen doom
waaw xam nga loolu gëm-gëmi nit ñi la waaye soo seetee nampal bépp xale bu juddoo dafa war a namp dem suur te li war mooy bépp xale bu juddoo balaa muy am benn waxtu diggante bi mu juddoo ak balaa muy am benn waxtu yaay ji war na koo jox ween bi mu namp comme soo ko buggee wax si comme nit ñi nuñ ko mën a waxee mooy si saa si rek soo wasine si saa si nga jox sa doom bi mu namp parce que soo dégloo maa la wax na la fii njëriñ yoo xam ne loolu am na pour xale bi te am na pour yaay ji ñaareel xale bi penguam bu njëkk bi mooy meew buy njëkk a génn boobu olof yi ñu ngi ko wax tekk boobu bépp xale bu ko namp boobu daf lay aar comme mooy pengu bu njëkk bi soo seetee si wàllum yaay bi lu kéemaandaangoo parce que yaay yu bari suñ amee doom dañoo sotti deret te loolu mun naa tax ñu ñàkk seen bakkan waaye gis nga soo wasinee rek nga jël sa doom bi jox ko ween si saasi loolu dina tax deret boobu mu arrêté loolu lu am solo la pour yaay ji ñaareel bi yaay ji bépp xale bu juddu xam nga si àndaale la nekkoon àndaale boobu xale bi su génnee àndaale bi dafa war a génn waaye ñaareel pour mu génn dafay jël waxtu waaye soo jëlee sa doom bi rek nga teg ko si nga jox ko ween bi loolu dina la dimbale àndaale bi génn te sa jureekaay bi pour mu dellu si ni meloon foog nga teel a jël xale bi jox ko ween yii yu am solo la pour yaay ji ba pare xale bi soo ko su wasinee teeluloo ko jox ween loolu dafa am ay loraange yu am na ñoo xam ne balaa ñuy joxe ween di nga dégg ne comme si suñ société olof yi di nga dégg ñoo xam ne ñu ne dañ koo jox tokkantal loolu léegoo léegi ñi ay alxuraan la ñoo binda wala leneen saafara ñu ñëw jox ko wala jox ko xale bi loolu yëpp loo xam ne la mun naa isil xale bi loraange li gën ci xale bi mooy su yaay ji soo wasinee rek nga jox ko ween bi
nampal ko
mu nampa mu dimbale la yaay ji mu dimbale xale ji xaar ko te am na suma boos wax na leen soo seedee nampal bu mat mooy depuis bu xale bi juddoo ba balaa muy am juróom benn weer si diir boobu waruloo koo jox ndox waruloo koo jox lekka parce que weeni yaay bi mat na ko si li mu war a naan ak li mu war a lekk balaa muy am juróom benn weer waaye su demee ba am juróom benn weer nag léegi ween bi doyatu ko foog mu am loo xam ne dinga ko jox pour mu mun a feccali biir bi su boobaa nag balaa nga koy jox loolu danga koo njëkk a nampal parce que soo dégloo waxtaan bi ma la wax na leen ne biiri xale bi dafa tuuti soo su nekkee ne xale bi dem na ba juróom benn weer soo ko buggee jox mu su xiifee nga bugg koo jox mu lekk balaa muy lekk mu nampa parce que su duut loolu soo ko njëkkee jox lekk bi rek lekk bi dafa feesal biir bi te lekk boobu du mun a def li nga xam ne ween bi dina ko def yaa ngay gis moo tax da nga war a jël njëkkaa saa yu mu buggee nampa rek nga jox ko mu njëkkaa nampa nga door koo jox mu lekk waaye am na ñoo xam ne comme ñu ko waxee soo teelee jox sa doom bi ndox wala lekk ay loraange yu bari moo si dee nekk soo gisee jigéen boo xam ne toujours mu ngi faral di dugal lopitaan di génn ñaareel defuñ nampal bu mat dañ teel a jox xale boobu ndox wala lekk ndox yooyu ak lekk soo ko teelee jox ñaareel yi moo isi mooy ay biir bu daw ay dina métti ak yooyu parce que lekka bi fuñ koo defaree anam buñ koo defaree niñ ko joxe ak fuñ ko denc yooyu dina tax mu laale ak doomi jàngoro ba xale bi su jëlee rek mu isil ko yeneen lora mooy ñaareel yaay yi nga dee gis toujours ñu dugal lopitaan di génn soo leen laajee naka nga nampalee sa doom bi depuis bi mu juddoo ba balaa juróom benn weer fekk lii nampal bu mat amutoon foofu waaw soo siñ sañoon xale bu nekk depuis bi mu juddoo rek yaay gi jox ko ween gi si saasi mu continuer nag di ko nampal ba juróom benn weer te fekk joxul ko dara su duut ween bi su demee ba juróom benn weer mu commencé di ko jox lekka ak di ko nampal di ko jox lekka ba mu dem ba mu am ñaari at wala lu tegu lii mooy loo xam ne war na xale te bépp xale bu ko am loolu di nga war a màgg ni nga war a màggee sa xel mi dina màcca nu mu war a màccee soo nampal soo seedee lu am solo la
yes lu am solo la
waaw dama day gis ni day use feeding bottle jënd meew
biberon
kañ lay war a introduce loolu if at all
biberon lu kéemaanango parce que léegi nit ñi da ngaa gis ñuy jéem a tubaablu
waaw loolu
di isi ay biberon di ko jox xale waaye ñaareel ku gis biberon bi seetal ndax biberon mun nga koo raxas ba mu set munuñ koo raxas mu set soo li ñoo wax mooy xale soo ko jox lekka si leneen sax lu duut comme ween bi su nekkee lekka xanaa nga def ko si kaas ak kudu
nga jox ko
waaw waaye biberon doo ko mun a setal foog mu am doomu jàngoro soo biberon waruñ koo laal a tool si lopitaan yi sax li ñoo wax gars yi mooy kenn warut a dugal waruñoo nangu sax ñu dugal biberon si lopitaan because lu bon nangoo waaw
waa léegi meew buñ dee def si biberon ku ko def nii mu jox ko tëj ko moom mu dem liggéey nga bàyyi meew bi foofu noonu di whole day nga ne doom bi pour mu naan ko
non loolu danañ ko dee mun a wax jigéen ñi pour su nekkee ne yow xam nga ne di nga tàggoo ak sa doom ba mu jël ay waxtu war ngaa mën a def lu ñuy wax express breast milk mooy nga nal sa ween bi def ko si kaas bu ko def si biberon dañ ko war a def si kaas bu am ndëpp
waaw
nga xam ne saa yu xale bi buggee lekka ñu génnee si leneen du si boobu sax la ñoo jëlee dañ ko def si leneen ñu jox ko parce que soo ko jëlee si boobu ak kuddu bi loolu di nga ko tilima yaa ngi gis soo waruñ koo def si biberon dañ ko war a def si kaas boo xam ne am na ndëpp ñu denc ko foo xam ne dina mun a
waaw
sedda waxuñ nga def ko si
fridge
room temperature rek mun nga faa ko faa denc
mun naa nekk fa 8 hours
8 hours te dara du ko def
waaw
ok nice léegi health worker yi comme hospital bi yéen naana dafa am engagement boo leen di engage gaay pour ñu mun a jàngal jigéen ñi bu baax wàllum breastfeeding.
Yes. We have programs that are geared towards empowering health workers, community structures, and mothers. One of those programs is the Baby Friendly Hospital Initiative. This is a global initiative launched by WHO and UNICEF to protect, promote, and support breastfeeding in maternity facilities. These are facilities that are providing maternity services to mothers and their children. And that program is in the Gambia since 1991. We have health facilities that are running that program. And in those facilities, we have developed what we call breastfeeding policies for every health facility. This is the policy that guides us to how breastfeeding should be managed and controlled and promoted within the facility. And we also build capacity of health workers in terms of knowledge and skills as to breastfeeding, how to breastfeed the child adequately. And also, we have programs within the facilities that we do counseling especially for those first-time mothers, because first-time mothers, especially in this day and age, where we have people have access to so many information and a lot of misconceptions. So we have individual counseling with some of those mothers, but we also have group counseling where we do social behavior change communication to talk to mothers about the importance of breastfeeding. So these are programs that are happening at the facility level. But we know in the Gambia, in the past 5-10 years ago, majority of mothers deliver at home. Even if you deliver at the health facility, you stay there for a few hours and then you go back and you come to your home. Whatever you talk to the mother about in the facility, if he goes into the community where the husband is there, the mother-in-law is there, the father-in-law is there, other members of the family are there, and they are not aware or they don't know what the mothers talk about, it will be difficult. Because you realize that when inside the program, you ask mothers to do exclusive breastfeeding, they will understand, they will agree, but when they come to home, they find it difficult to do because those around the child have more influence than the mother. So we expand this program into a community initiative. Community initiative, of course, with some changes. We don't only focus on breastfeeding, but we look at the mother herself before, during, and after pregnancy, so that we can take care of the mother's health during that period. And also to ensure that the family members, everybody that surround that child, have common understanding of the importance of breastfeeding and how it should be done. So the mother would not have any difficulty when she wanted to practice exclusive breastfeeding. The mother would not be supported to take care of the child when the mother is away. The mother will be supported to avoid certain things somebody can do for her while she focuses on breastfeeding. So these are programs that are also in the communities, linking hospital and the community, so that there is a kind of equilibrium between what is happening at the facility level and what is happening in the community level. And these are paying dividends. We have seen a lot of shift in thinking now in terms of breastfeeding. In the past, there are so many myths about breastfeeding in this country, but now those myths are dying down. One of them is colostrum. People used to throw colostrum outside. They don't even give it. Now colostrum, almost every child is giving colostrum. People now don't think that if I breastfeed my child, my breast will fall down.
Yes.
So those are
exactly. I think it contributes to most of the time why many women don't breastfeed. If you have husbands like the likes of Gabu, the likes of Gabu, they will tell the wife, "Ne so nampale you need danu rek man duma lifin duma utsit." Yeah. So thank you very much, Mr. Fofana. We are out of time. Time is against us now. Just finally, then we can wrap up this program.
The final advice is, whoever you are, wherever you are, let us all embrace optimal feeding to build the foundation that we want tomorrow. And that's the human capital. In this country, we are not blessed with so many natural resources.
True.
One of our key strengths in this country is our human capital. And just like Habarka has said, if you are building a house, you should have a strong foundation for that house, especially if it's a story building.
Absolutely.
And that, in human capital, the foundation is optimal feeding.
True.
That's when everybody should support every mother to ensure that the child is adequately breastfed.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Fofana. A very interesting engagement. These are things that we should be advocating for. We should be continuing talking about these things. That being the case, here to the end of the week, on this morning, we'll keep mentioning breastfeeding.
In the Gambia,
yes, quickly.
We do it in the whole month of August.
Yes.
We don't only globally it's 4 to 7, but Gambia is the whole month of August.
The whole month of August.
The whole month of August.
Okay,
so if you have time,
breastfeeding month.
We can
thank you very much. We are, this segment is ending here. Very interesting. Now we will take a short break. After the break, the sports world with Momodu Gajaga. We'll be back.
Devices? Well, we present to you the QCell Indoor Router, a router that has all you need and much more. For just $4,275, you can get 4G plus internet speed, wide coverage, and connect up to 15 devices. And That's not all. The indoor router can be used for both office and home needs. So, enhance your internet experience with our indoor router. For more info, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunubus, we innovate, others follow.
Get a QCell SIM card for free. Yes, absolutely free. Walk into any of our customer care centers and get a SIM free of charge. With a QCell SIM card, you can get the fastest and the most reliable internet plus wide range of amazing services. So rush now to any of our care centers and get a free SIM now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell Sunubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
With so many things to do in a single day, it's important to have a network you can trust. When there's family and friends to connect with and business calls to make, you need a network that is reliable and fast. Talk longer, browse faster, go farther, and roam wider. When your network is solid, the world is your oyster. QCell, your trusted network in the Gambia.
QCell, the fastest growing network in the Gambia, now presents to you the eSIM. QCell's eSIM allows you to electronically scan a code and join the world of digital SIM cards. Customers with physical SIMs can easily switch to the eSIM as well. So rush now and get connected with an eSIM and start using the latest mobile technology with your trusted GSM operator. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunubus. We innovate, others follow.
Yes, we are back. We innovate, others follow. Get that number 5 or the number 3. Now let's move to Sports World. Mamadou Gajaga is in the studio and he will update us on the Olympics. Gajaga.
Yes, well, it's a pleasure to be here and talk about the Paris 2024. That's what it's called, Paris Olympic Games. Yes, Gambian interest in the games is almost dwindling as, you know, we're getting close into the games. Right now, it's only Alassane Anne. He will represent the Gambia in Taekwondo. Yes, that's the only category remaining. But for the rest, Gambian interest in the Olympics is almost virtually over. Gina Mariam Basbete had the hope of getting through the finals of the women's 200 meters yesterday. She reached, of course, the semi-final in 3rd place in a season's best. And also, yesterday when she ran also, another season's best for her. Finished 4th place, 22:66, but not good enough to get her to the finals of the women's 200 meters. Fought very hard, tried everything possible, but at this stage, you know, small margins. And at the end of the day, it's about timing, it's about who is faster, and it's about qualification. When it gets to the semi-final stage, it's the top 2 who gets automatic qualification, and then you have 2 fastest losers also as well. Overall, those who finish 3rd, the best timers, the 2 amongst them, would join the rest to make it to the finals of the event. So it was almost the same thing for her in the 100 meters. She came out of the blocks in the preliminaries, that's the first heats, and then quickly made it into the semi-finals. But at the semi-final stage also, yeah, a whisker away. She did very well, but at the end of the day, not good enough to make the cut to the finals. And she was like the hope of the Gambia to get at least into the finals of either the 100 meters or the 200 meters. But unfortunately, that didn't happen. Butch watched it and we all watched it together. But yeah, you definitely see the difference. Yeah, she definitely tried in the past Olympics. The previous one in Rio, that one, she just participated in the heats and then couldn't make it to the semifinals. And then the Tokyo one reached the semifinals. This time, semifinals of both the women's 100 meters and the 200 meters, I think she did well. Yeah.
That's it. And I think we expected her to be in the finals because she's raised the bar.
Yes.
The expectations have become so high because of the performances. But it's all positive. This is the Olympics, for God's sake. Reaching the semi-finals of the Olympics, that in itself is a massive accolade. I think we first sent athletes to the Olympics in 1984 in Los Angeles.
LA Games.
LA Games. We remember people like Jobu Jao. And afterwards, subsequently, first round, you're out and stuff like that. It took us, what, 40 years exactly this year? Look at it in the semis.
Absolutely.
So she's been a massive, great heroine, you know.
Well, even just, I mean, going there to be part of, I mean, this, it's just history. I mean, it's a big performance for us. I mean, seeing the Gambia's flag being, you know, seen on TV, I think it's also another plus for us as a country.
Well, the season's best.
Yeah.
She really gave her heart out. And both in the, was it both in the 100 meters?
Yes.
Season's best. And in the 200 meters, season's best. So this is really what we can ask of you.
Absolutely.
You know, either your SB or your PB, personal best or season's best, but really give it all, or your all, and break all records.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what she did. So really, it's not a, it's a fantastic
So
story.
Ibrahima also.
Yes, Ibrahima Kamara. For Ibrahima, he came into the Olympics just, you know, weeks prior to the Olympic Games, in July the 14th to be precise. She ran in the Switzerland, you know, indoor games, and surprisingly, for the first time, broke the sub 10 seconds for the Gambia. You know, it's a new record that he set and then broke it as well, because it used to be 10:15 for the Gambia. Suwaibu Sane had it, London 2012, 10:17. And then later it was Ibrahima who got 10:15 rather. And then in that Switzerland competition, he broke the sub 10 seconds on the male category for the first time in the history of Gambian sprinters. So that was very, very good getting into the Olympics. But it happened at a time when the qualification window was closed. And then he got into the Olympics, of course, on a wild card. That is, you are going to participate, but not on merit as the athletes who qualified for the Games. Ran in the heat. The first one came out first in the blocks, 10:21. Sort of did very well in that. Then get into the proper heat. That earns you a place into the semi-final, first and second. Ibrahima came out, ran 10:21, but that 10:21 was very, very, very close to the guy who finished third, who got the automatic qualification.
Okay.
Yes, but wasn't enough to get him a place into the semi-finals. So Ibrahima also did very well by. Of course, one would have thought much better, but athletics doesn't work like that, Mr. Mbochian. A month ago, you can run a faster time, and then you come into the proper competition.
And you need them to be running sub 10 in the 100 meters. Men.
Consistently. That one is
but
like
he just did it once. So it was always going to be a tall order. Because now with the 100 meters sub 10, you don't forget it. If you can't do sub 10, forget it, really.
And Sanu.
Yes, Sanu Jallow, 800 meters, women's, qualified, got into the Olympics. The first heat, tried a little. 2 minutes was it, plus 2 minutes 3 seconds or 2 minutes 33 or so. And but at the end of the day, if you look at the competitors that she competed with and experience-wise and all of that, it's not a bad finish. And the second day, got another opportunity, improved at least in terms of ranking and in terms of finishing. in the 800 meters category, she did well overall. Yeah, for the first time Olympian. Yeah, also it is not a bad performance from her. Let's say in swimming, Aminata Barrow and also Usman Job. Well, Usman got a good rating prior to it, got into the competition proper. But as you know, of course, always Gambia, the challenge would be we don't even have a proper swimming pool anywhere. Let's say standard, that's the Olympic size swimming pool where you could train and all of that. Yes, prior to the Olympics, Usman was in Thailand. That's where he was training and, and qualification, get into the Olympics proper. But yes, at that stage, it is the best of the best that competes. So obviously getting there alone is somewhat an achievement.
True.
But competition-wise, it's very, very
Absolutely.
difficult.
Yes, Gajaga. If you look at the performance of our team, I mean, I think they deserve to be given their flowers. I mean, going out there and representing your country, it's something else. And at the same time, I think we still need to go back to the drawing board. We still have to sit as people and see how best to improve certain things as well. Maybe for Gina, Ibrahima Kamara, maybe Sanu and the rest.
Yes, for all of them, all of them who compete in the various sporting disciplines. I think facility-wise, financial motivation, training, coaching, capacity, build their experience, provide them the best of facilities. Yes, all that is important. But even with all those facilities, does not still guarantee you a medal or maybe reaching the final or so. They're important because obviously you have to get that. The best of the best obviously get that. The woman who got the 100 meters gold medal, Julian Alfred, St. Lucia, yes, we had reports unconfirmed though about a portion of our country's budget is being appropriated to her. Yeah, maybe social media talk over, but whatever comes out of it, she trains in the best facilities in the United States, competes with, some of the best athletes, some of the fastest as well as, some of the best coaches as well. So all those would definitely count when you come to competitions like this, because at the end of the day, it is not a matter of luck. It's about people who just worked to the highest standards who eventually win. That's why maybe Mboch has watched so many Olympics. He can tell you there has never been a case where somebody just come out of the blues and then becomes a gold medalist in either the sprint or in the middle distance or in the... Obviously, for the most part, you would see, okay, some people are highly rated. They would be either 1, 2, or 3. These are like going to be the medalists at the end of the day. Yeah, somehow, it can change. You can have somebody, like in the case of the 100 meters, Sarika Jackson, yes, Richardson rather. Yes. Many people thought the American, that she was going to win, but at the end of the day.
Well, this sporting is really interesting. You train for 4 years and you run for few seconds.
Yes.
Can you imagine?
Imagine,
yeah. So thank you very much, Mr. Momodu Gajaga, for at least giving us this update. Finally, do you have anything to say finally?
Yeah, just to say we wish Alassane Anne, now the only Gambian contingent in the Olympics as far as competition is concerned in the Taekwondo. Wish him all the best of luck. But overall, it's not a bad performance for the Gambia in terms of athletes' participation in competition.
Any world records yet? No,
not yet.
Not quite.
Yeah, not quite, yes. As far as I'm concerned,
world records. Okay.
World record, of course, in the pole vault yesterday, yes.
Gone, that one.
Yeah, that one.
Yes.
Yeah, quite a remarkable one.
Yes.
We'll go back to the videos.
So thank you very much. Thank you, gentlemen, for this, Momodu Gajaga, for giving us that update. Thank you very much, viewers. Mr. Mboch, until we come tomorrow, you'll be here?
I'm not sure what
all right,
we have
don't
to
worry.
tomorrow.
Yeah, so this is all we have. Have a wonderful day.